Okay, welcome to this presentation. I would maybe rather call this a presentation than a lecture, and I hope we can have some conversation also here. So please interrupt and ask at any time if you want to ask or maybe clarify something, or just to give a comment. Please do. Here's a little explanation about the height cards. We'll come back to this in more detail later. Just quickly about who am I? My name is Kalle Oittinen, saxophone player and saxophone teacher based in Tampere, Finland. I do all kinds of music, standard, classical, saxophone, romantic, contemporary repertoire. Lately I have been also involved in contemporary music more in the teaching also. So background for the project, how this came to life. In 2017 I was finishing my pedagogical studies in Sibelius Academy. And one work that I did was this, that I tested extended techniques with my students. I already had a full class, young students from like 6-7 years old upwards. And when I did this experiment, what I realized that, well, before I did it, I had, I thought that, because I was not taught extended techniques for contemporary music as a kid. So in my head I thought that, okay, I will not teach them also, so I will maybe teach them later. But then I tried the techniques with the students, and I realized that they're actually a lot of fun. They can learn it pretty quickly. Some of them are very, very easy to do. So then I got excited about it, and I searched for some repertoire to play with the students, and I didn't find almost anything, at least Finnish music. So then a few years later, I commissioned work from 4 Finnish composers, Piilo, Minna Lehtinen, Roopemäen, and Tuomas Turjala, write music for both professionals and students. And I especially asked them to involve the extended techniques somehow in the pedagogical works, especially. And they all had a little different approach to it. I will talk in greater detail later. Then the Finnish Cultural Foundation funded the project in 2020, and we were supposed to have a tour with the concerts, playing all the pieces, and also with workshops about the extended techniques. But then COVID came, and we have to change the plans a little, and eventually we got fed up arranging the concerts all over again, and we just recorded the pieces and spread the music that way. Fortunately, we were able to give the workshops somehow. So that's what. And then in 2022, around Finland, there's five locations where we did those. So this was the original plan, was just to have the new music and do the workshops. But then one of the composers, Minna Lehtinen, were doing her doctoral studies in Sibelius Academy, and the title, free translation, was about extended techniques to more approachable with pedagogy. So then she observed the workshops, and we gave some workshops together. She is very experienced in giving this kind of composing workshops for young students. So we combined our strengths. I did mostly about the saxophone part and the improvising part, and then she involved the composing aspect to it. And then actually she came up with the idea of these interactive cards, because I had used this, there's this set of improvisation cards made by Finnish piano teacher, Kalle Oittinen. I had used them in my teaching, and then I told about them to Minna. Those cards they're not perfectly suitable for saxophone wind instrument, and they don't have the contemporary component in them. So Minna came up with the idea to develop our own cards based on the material of the works in this project. Then we tested them, we made some new workshops with the cards. And finally, 2023, the sheet music and the cards were published by pedagogical. Okay, now we could. I think we could first look at the compositions. So each composer had a slightly different approach. Here's the first page of this called Upa. And already here we have some ossia parts to make it more approachable, like the right word, because here Robe wanted to really explore the softest possible dynamics of the saxophone, so that we changed some of the octaves to make it so that the student can choose if he or she wants to challenge him or herself with the low register or go with the softer version. And then there's another version of this piece called Upa 2. Now we can see we changed the multiphonics. The piano part is exactly the same all the time. And then it's even more middle register, and some of the big stuff is put away to make it easier to concentrate on the multiphonics and the soft dynamics. Another look of the pro version and the student version. This is more aimed to the university level maybe, but also here I have some ossia parts. Here's an example. So if you struggle with the nasty altissimo too much, there's a way to regress the difficulty. And then Tuomas Turja did a completely new piece for students. It's this suite of Latin music based, or not actually not based, it's purely Latin music. So there's bossa nova, and then there's tango. These can be played as individual pieces. They're getting more and more difficult here. And here's some percussive elements introduced here in these pieces. And as said, everything can be found on the YouTube. Okay, but then we could take a more closer look at the Minna's piece, because they're so like that's where the height cards came from. Actually good. So Minna did 3 versions of the same solo piece. This is the first one she did. Some of you were at the concert Monday, but we will just listen to the very beginning so we can then compare the other pieces. Some crazy things to play. First regression. And when we were doing this, of course we worked very closely with Finland. We had workshops and I tested also these ideas with my students a little. So we basically have all the same elements here from the same material. The rhythm is not so complex, there's more freedom. It's easier to concentrate on the technique and not so big jumps. The fast slurs are also more in the linear line, it's slightly easier. Now listen to this my student Axel playing. Still, we have basically all the elements that were in the first piece. Now it's just even more free. No low keys, so that there's more students can reach, and it's not so heavy to play also. Now listen to this third person, and this is Johannes. things in these pieces. So they're adjustable because for some student one technique can be easy and one technique can be very difficult. So we want to keep freedom, but also freedom to do more. For example, here, of course, I don't expect all my 10, 11 years old to do the slap, but why not give it a chance? So it's a short, brutal, sharp note, but of course we can, because I wanted to include the option for the slap. So why not keep the option open to learn it? Okay, so then the height cards are the material is based on these Piilo pieces. And we have 7 different kind of cards. We had the technique cards. This is unfortunately Finnish, but there's some examples of the what's inside the card. The notation is from the same music. But how to use them? Here are some examples. And there is actually, of course, there is no limit on how to use them. You can make your own way, invent anything. Here is just a few examples. And one thing I did in the workshops I like to do with my students, actually first play something together, like such that I start to play something, and then we actually have their eyes closed even, and then they start to imitate. And we do this, and I pick another technique and different kind of soundscapes. So they just imitate and don't know that they are learning something very strange and new. And then after that, then I introduce the cards and the techniques. What are they actually called? Or are they notated? And then we make these soundscapes. And what's great about this kind of improvisation that it cannot go wrong. And it's very safe environment. And we start to make some soundscape with air noise and key clicks. Anyone can do it. Doesn't have to be a saxophone player to do it. So it's a very good place to start. And then we can add there something they can. So for example, they have chosen a few techniques, and then we can take these mode cards, and the best part is that when they can choose. Of course, even the teenagers are like excited, my turn. And then I say you can pick 2, and then they have the system. That one. And then we see we have misterioso and agitato. And then we can play the same thing, but with the instruction of the misterioso. And then we do another version with the agitato. And then we can take new cards, we take tempo cards, and we can take 2 cards. Now we have moderato and ritardando. And then we try with these 2. And after we have tried all these things, then they can pick one tempo card and one mode card that they think that fits the best. And now we have a pair. And then we play the soundscape with this introduction. And then we can add and mix the cards as much as we want. And you feel in the moment. So there's one example of how to get going. you can do them along with the student, and then also in the group, both work. So there's technique card, dynamic cards, mode card, phrasing cards, demo cards, character cards, and graphic cards. And then you can proceed to make compositions, like we can, like I previously mentioned, that you keep on adding the cards, and then you have a different kind of soundscapes. And then you can make 2 or 3 of those, and then the students can choose like 2 of them, and then we can arrange them so that we make a structured composition. Like we have A section, B section, we do A, B, A, and so we can actually work through a full composition. But the possibilities are endless. And there are these instructions, and then there is this link. Behind this link, there's a lot more of this. I just realized it actually in Finnish, but we will correct that. So there will be also, there's many ideas, and there's even an example of the full workshop. Easy to get going with this. And then here are some of my observations from using this. This is quite new still. It was published in last autumn. This spring I was not teaching in the off-duty from my kids. So I've been only using them for like half a year, a little more, but these are like my observations from during the process, and then now using them in my everyday teaching. And one is that the cards make the techniques easier to approach, I think, compared like it's just a game that we play in the lesson. Nothing difficult, nothing strange. Well, maybe strange, but strange is fun. And I think the children are very open-minded to contemporary music and these techniques. It's often the adults that set the limit that this is something that is out of their league or something. And this way I think the learning the notation afterwards is easier. So if I give this to the student, face is that, and then if we start practicing this in the lesson, we practice the first 3-4 bars, and that's the whole lesson, because we have to go in so much detail, and it is like, oh, and there's a whole page almost left after that, so that can be quite frustrating. And then what's this? When we start with the cards, we actually know what to do. And here, so the first line is, it's not difficult, it's very easy. But if you start to learning it from the notation, it can be like set the mind into a mood. Why? But if you first said, okay, do this, that's easy, no problem. And then we can play with it. And then you can say, okay, this is how it's written. Okay, it's that thing that we did in the improvisation. And from my experience, the playing expressively gets easier, and this translates to all styles of playing. So, for example, as Johannes played the last Piilo piece, after this we made these exercises, and he played the piece a few times. Then we it was a summer break, and then in autumn we started playing some more traditional repertoire, and I noticed that he started to make more rubato and play all the dynamics more. And, it was easier because I think with this contemporary context, it's easier to go wide than when you have the written notes. But I think after this, it was easier for him to, let it go. And, use the expression. Choosing cards is fun, as I said. It's a fun way to structure the lesson. There's one tool in the toolbox to organize the lesson. Sometimes the 45 minutes is way too long for some students, so it's nice to have something very different in between. So we start with the scales and we do something else, and then the student is bored. Then we do some cards in the middle and then finish with something else. Or then it's the treat in the end. Scales first, then we can do. Oh, I was already mentioned. Yeah, then you can use this. I like to use these cards also so that the student has a piece prepared for the concert, and then we play it, and then I choose different kind of cards, and there are the instructions how to play the piece. So we discover new ways to play, and that translates to more free, more improvised feel when playing the written music also. Improvisation and playing the games develops these things. One game that I like to play is that we're in a circle, and then we close the eyes, and one player begins with a certain technique or sound, and then the person next to him or her does the same sound, and then goes in a circle. You have to listen very good when it's my turn, and then we can mix it. We try to have pulse in it, try to make it as fast as possible, and then we can use another technique that goes in the other direction. We can put them at the same time. So they're super focused and listening every small scratch sound that's coming outside. So I have noticed that we do this first, and then we play something else with the group. They are so much more they're more present and actually listening to what the other players are doing. And then what I also like when I think about this extended techniques, that I think they translate very well to playing normally. For example, if you learn the flutter time, it's a very good exercise for legato and have an open sound. If you can play a phrase with flutter all the time, it means that you have the air support, it means you have an open throat. I actually do that every day. Play some scales with flutter. And when you practice multiphonics, it teaches you to control the sound and intonation. So if you have a certain multiphonic, and then you can practice with the student to pick up each tone from the multiphonic, so they can learn to control embouchure and voicing. And then it's easier to practice this way because you get an immediate response. Like you either hear all the three notes, or you hear only two, or you hear only one. So they get immediate feedback from playing. And then we play something else, and we are in the high register. And then I say, oh, now you have to blow like you did in the multiphonic to get it sound good. It's a good reference. But if I just go to the level high E, you have to make something good. It's difficult. Like they don't maybe hear the difference or what to do. But with multiphonics, it's very easy to hear when they change and if they change enough. And then roll is another example. It's a lot of energy, mental and physical. Otherwise, it won't happen. So, no problem. But you need this. It's a good way to teach. Okay, so this is the way you have to blow all the time, actually. Then, yeah, the pedagogical pieces fill the gap between the easiest and the most difficult contemporary musicalities for it. So, what I like about this collection myself is that there's for the different levels. Great. I think that's all I have to say. Do you have any questions or comments? Yeah. Why? So from the publisher, you can order. I have 3 copies here with me, so you can get one from me, and we can then agree about how to pay. But if you order it from during the congress, you can. The person from the publisher said that they can send you a code so that you get it without the costs during this congress. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you.
Is the cards in English?
Yes. And the instructions are in English, and this link will be in English. Just notice that definitely we will make it English version also.
Anyway, I'm glad I got to meet you.
Nice.
See you soon.